So hopefully that exercise gave you a nice sense of your midline. And now we're going to engage more of the heel aspect that I talked about with governing vessel and conception vessel, and then opening up the arms. So this is just simply, we want to start from the centre for this because it's always about coming back to the centre, then opening up, then coming back to the centre again. So with this one, we can be breathing out as we step with our heel, and then in as we reach up, and then out as we come back to the centre. And then out, in, and breathing out. So we can just keep repeating that. Stepping, breathing in, stretching up. Really feel that you're opening from the centre to outside, stepping back, finding the centre, stepping down, breathing in and stretching up. So I mean, you don't necessarily, as you get into the movement, you might change your breathing slightly, but the in-breath is really this opening up. And then you might want to feel how slowly or how quickly you want to do this exercise. Really feel that stepping, anchoring to earth, opening up to heaven from the midline and coming back to the centre. Stepping and opening up, coming back to the centre. Stepping, opening up and coming back to the centre. That's great. So just do that a couple more times. And then coming back to the centre, feeling that connection with your midline, perhaps closing your eyes, checking the connection between the tailbone, the coccyx and the earth, the top of the head and the heaven. And with the next one, we're just going to come in a bit more awareness into the space that's around these vessels, which I described a bit with my talk on embryology, that they don't just exist in the body, they're in the space outside. We connected a bit with the heaven and the earth there, that is part of their energy. Now what we're going to do is just connect a little bit by placing our hands just above our pubic bone, connecting with our heart and feeling the midline energy. And then we bring our hands together. And then we open up the heart. Bring the energy back to the heart. Bring the energy down. So this time we're just away from the vessel, and we move down the front, and then we move up the front. Then we come up to the mouth, that's a really important aspect, and then we bring our hands out, and then we connect to the earth, and we feel now we're gathering the energy of the earth. We get that anchoring from around our feet. Then we bring the palms of our hands up the inside of our legs. We come up now the front, come up in front of the face, and then we open up to the heaven, and we feel like we're gathering the energy from the heaven and then bringing it down to the heart, opening up the heart, bringing the energy back to the heart, gathering it down, drawing it up again, and then coming back down. So you have a movement down, gathering around, and then slowly drawing energy back up to the centre. So we can just repeat that a few more times. Gathering from here. Bringing down to the heart. Chong Mai in the breasts. Opening up. Gathering back in. Drawing back down. Bringing up to the mouth and the face and the brain. Gathering down to the earth. Gathering energy from the earth. Drawing energy back up. Drawing down. So really be soft in this movement. Try and have your shoulders relaxed. Find the rhythm that suits you. The pace of the breathing is whatever it feels right for you to do. You can do it more slowly, you can do it more quickly, but you're focusing on the connections just outside the body, and you're feeling the largeness, the quality of these energies, which are not just in the body, but around the body and coming inside the body. And then the last round, gathering energy from the heaven, bringing it to your heart, opening up the heart. So don't hurry up to do it, just do it in your own rhythm, and then bringing the energy back to the heart, the reproductive organs. Your basic posture with your knees slightly soft, feeling the connection with the earth, feeling the connection with the centre, feeling the connection with the head and the brain, the heart, the kidneys and the reproductive organs, uterus. And then you can open your eyes. And the next exercise is going to bring us a bit more in connection with the earth and more of a connection with the perineal part of this, and also engaging a little bit more the lower back. So for this, do make sure that you feel relaxed going into this position and only do what feels comfortable for you. You might want to have your feet a little bit wider for this and really feel the anchoring, especially through the sole of the foot. Then from here, as we breathe out, we want to keep our arms really soft and relaxed, bringing them up. Breathing in, feeling the whole lengthening through the spine and midline, and then sinking down, but only do this if it feels comfortable for you, into the squatting position with your palms together and pausing here. So we have to remember, in traditional Japanese culture and many traditional cultures, squatting wasn't really an exercise, it was just how people sat. So for many of us in Western cultures, we have to do more preparation to come into the squat. But if you're comfortable squatting, then really feel the connection with the ground, the inside aspect of the penetrating vessel. Be aware of the lower part, the perineal aspect, really the coccyx, the lower back, and try and connect with this whole midline energy. Also connecting with the penetrating vessel, which is going through the breast. So it's important that we're not hunched over. We try and really palms together, that connects with the heart protector, easing back the knees. We have a nice straight spine. Yeah, great. And so traditionally people would sit like this for hours, but I won't make you sit like this for hours. So just as much as you feel comfortable, but if you're able to, as you breathe out, really being aware of how the pelvic floor draws up, how the abdominal muscles draw in, with the in-breath being aware of the lengthening of the spine. And you may want to be aware of the connection between the tongue and the roof of the mouth and the anus and the perineum. So as you breathe out, you can almost feel that you're drawing up inside to the roof of the mouth. There is a connection through here, physically and energetically. So notice how your midline energies feel in this position. And then gradually now we're going to come into all fours. So on all fours, it's the same idea. We need to be really careful of what's happening to Ming Men, the kidney, the second and third lung, but we don't want to be hollowing this part of the back. So we need to be engaging our abdominal muscles and to some extent our perineum, and come into a nice flat back position. Having our hands below our shoulders, our knees about hip width apart. Feel how the midline energy is in this position. And then what we're simply going to do from our flat back, so relax and soften a little bit your elbows, that's right, because we've got to remember the penetrating vessel is important that it flows in the breast and chest area. So soften a little bit your shoulders, your elbows, and make sure there's a nice flow in the chest area. Yeah, that's great. And then from there, we're just going to rock backwards and forward. So as we come forward, we might want to move our hands forward and bring our hips forward. We have a few options here. We can keep our feet on the ground as we bring our hips forward. We still need to make sure we're not overly hollowing our lower back. And we can come all the way back if we want to and rest our head on the floor. I have a slight injury to my shoulder, so I can't do it completely fully. And as you come forward, just come as far forward as you can without overly hollowing the lower back. And you may find you want to just lift your feet up, possibly. Do this. And again, with this one, the breathing, just do the breathing as feels natural for you. So you might want to try with the different leg positions. And if it's uncomfortable for you to go that far back, this is where you can use a bolster, and you can more sit with a bolster between your legs like this. So this is really good for feeling the anchoring of the penetrating vessel. Feel that pathway going down into the legs. And as you focus on doing this, really being aware of the midline energies. And when you've done enough, you might want to, yes, as some of you are doing, you might feel, oh, I want to actually pause here as my head is on the ground and feel the connection between the brain, the kidneys, the reproductive organs, the heart, and just rest in this position. You may feel, as you come into the other position, that you want to rest in the forward position. But it's very important you don't force anything, you just do what feels comfortable for you. And then we'll come into flat back position. And we can just do now resting to feel how these midline energies feel. And then we'll just go into the cat stretch of yoga, just starting with the neck, feeling the movement from the neck all the way down to the base of the spine, but really also focus on the drawing in of the abdominal muscles and the drawing up of the pelvic floor on the out breath. And then as you breathe in, flattening from the base of the spine through to the top, just coming into the flat back position. So breathing out, lifting up and rounding. Breathing in, flattening from the base of the spine through to the top. So as you come into the flat back position on the in-breath, try to keep the neck in line. So we're trying to have as much of awareness of this midline. So don't bring this up too much. And also try to just soften your elbows a little bit so you get a bit more relaxation across here. And that will help open the penetrating vessel. And then on the out breath, that's right, you can really relax your head and feel the stretch from the neck all the way down here, but you're also feeling the drawing up here on the out breath. And then on the in breath, great, the relaxation here and the stretching through to here and relaxing here. Brilliant. So from your resting position, we're now going to roll onto our side and find our way to lying on our back. So again, it's really important to have a connection with the Ming Men, governing vessel 4, and the ground. So really make a nice connection. You don't want your back to be hollowed like we saw when we were standing or on all fours. Make sure it's nice and lengthened. So feel that midline connection between the coccyx and the head. Try and have it nicely supported now against the earth. So this gives a very different connection with the governing vessel as we lie down. Now the yang vessel is connected to the earth and we can feel the support through the length of the spine. The yin meridians are now open up to the sky, to the heaven. So feel how that affects your relationship to them. And also be aware of your legs, this branch of the penetrating vessel coming down the inside of the legs, the inside of the foot, the spleen point, but also have a nice anchoring connection with kidney 1. And then being aware of your chest as you breathe. Really feel the breath through the whole of the front of the body and the opening of the chest and this part of the penetrating vessel in the chest, the breasts for women, and the throat and around the mouth. And then when you feel ready, you're going to use the earth, you're going to use kidney 1 in the sole of the foot to feel the connection with the legs. Feel the movement up through between the knee to the knees and then to the hips. And then gradually lift your pelvis away from the ground, trying to keep that alignment. So you're not forcing suddenly here. You feel the whole movement gradually through your legs, into your chest, into your back. And you can have your arms nicely relaxed by the side of your body. And this one you may actually want to just stay in this position for a few breaths. Just relaxing and staying, making sure that your buttocks, your glutes are as relaxed as they can be because you're really focusing on the midline. Everything's coming from the midline. This is where you want to feel the energy, the power in the midline and along the pathways that I described. And then when you want to come down, just gradually coming down from the neck, working through the spine, through the midline, bringing it back into connection with the ground, and then feeling that anchoring down through the legs and into the feet. And you just keep repeating that in your own pace. The movement is on the out breath coming up, but then you can stay in that position for as long or as little as you want to. And then when you come down, that's also on the out breath, just softening down. And all the while you do this, you're focusing on the pathways. And when you've finished repeating, you can just rest.